Before we do that, I think it's important that as we look at the book of Judges, we as Americans in 2025, when I say judge, we think of guy in the
Black robe.
robe,
Yeah.
you know,
All rise.
all rise, all that. Or we have a negative connotation that comes along with people
Yes.
who
Oh,
judge us.
judgmental.
Don't judge me.
Yeah.
You can't judge me. A judge, that term is applied to a certain eminent persons chosen by God Himself
Uh-huh.
to govern the Jews from the time of Joshua until the establishment of kings, which we know the first king to be Saul.
Yes. But you already you named it right then. To what? To govern
To govern.
over the people. They're governors.
Right.
Yeah.
For the nature and duration of their office and the powers for which they were invested, goes on and talks about for further into the Jew study. But the judges were not ordinary magistrates.
Mm-mm.
So these weren't magistrates they went to see to get things, decided. But these were appointed by God for extraordinary occasions.
Yep.
As sometimes it was to lead an army, sometimes it was deliver the people of Israel, sometimes it was just to destroy the enemies. But they all had different reasons or different purposes that God brought them up. First few rules to understand is they're not hereditary. We understand kings as we read through the Bible that are not necessarily the Bible, but as we read
Bloodlines.
through bloodlines.
Yeah.
It usually goes from bloodline to bloodline. But when it came to judges were not hereditary. So just because Deborah was one does not mean that Deborah's child was going to be one.
Nope.
It was just by selection of God. They had absolutely no absolute power over life and death. In other words, they couldn't condemn someone to death, but they could only, according to the laws, express the law and teach the law or express the law to the people.
And it's important to note that they were chosen out of all the tribes.
Right.
So they were
Right.
one person raised up above all
Right.
of those 12 tribes.
Now, keep in mind here, during this book of Judges, we're not really going to talk about the wars a whole lot, but there's several wars here. But none of these wars in Judges were undertook at their own pleasure.
Right.
But only when they were commanded by God and called to it by the people. They didn't exact tribute, so they weren't like kings that had to pay homage to, so on and so forth. They did not succeed each other immediately, so it doesn't necessarily mean just because Deborah died that another one was going to raise up right away. There could be a gap of time in between.